Hello, this is the trade site U.S. stocks and futures market preview for the and domestic economic data roadmap for the week beginning Monday, the 2nd of April, and ending Friday, the 6th of April, 2018. Keep in mind that we had our holiday here in the U.S. for Good Friday. Stock market was closed. Banks are actually open on Monday, but the rest of the world's banks are not. So that usually makes it a fairly late week. You're not going to see a lot of action on the stock market. Not late week, sorry, just a late Monday. So just usually with the rest of the world closed, not a lot's going to go on. So I expect a maybe 1.4 at best billion NASDAQ share day on Monday, but the rest of the week could be good. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form. So in the end, the S&P ends up gaining a couple points for the entire quarter. Actually losing a couple points. Let me see. I think that's what I came up with. The close on January 20 or February, the last day of December, sorry, was 2668, and we just closed at 2637. So we lost 30 points on the S&P for the first quarter of the year, and then on the Nasdaq side, 6396 to 65. So gained about 180 points for the quarter on the Nasdaq side. So down on one, up a little on the other. And that's about it. Let's go through the major indices, then we'll look at the intra-week action, then we'll talk about the data coming out in the week ahead. So crude oil gains 57 cents here to 64.95 on Friday. Gold down 30 cents, which is not a big deal. S&P cash index gains 35.87. The NDX gains 120.32. And again, keep in mind it was only up 100. It's only up 180 or something for the whole quarter, so 120 of it was just the bounce back on Friday. Not that that pays anybody any bonuses. The SOX up 29 on Friday. The Biotechs, which was down for the quarter, slightly down, up 22 on Friday. The VIX loses back $2.90, but still bang around near 20. The trend closes at 0.85. That's a low close, but we still have a 1.19 10-day moving average there. NASDAQ volume was 2.5 billion shares, almost 2.6, which is the better volume of the week, but that's not shocking. You get some end of quarter prints and stuff like that. The real interesting part was the split on the advanced decline ratio. On the Nasdaq, it was negative 820. It means at 820, more stocks down than up. And keep in mind, that's despite the fact that the Nasdaq was up 120 points. So you'll see why in a minute. Meanwhile, on the New York side, it was plus 1665. So way more stocks up than down there. What drove the Nasdaq? Well, it's the usual. Google up 31.96, bouncing off of the lows of the quarter. Apple up a buck 30. Amazon up 15.92. Netflix up $9.58. Tesla up $8.35. That, even though that's at new lows for the year, really, that's a good bounce back there, and that all adds to the Nasdaq being up 120, even though most stocks were down. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up 59 cents, just a blip. Although it is interesting to see the bonds back up, meaning rates going down. Goldman Sachs gains $2.49. All right, let's look at the intra-week action. So we're going to change the charts to 10-minute candles. Keep in mind, of course, that Friday was kind of a dud just because of the fact that we were heading into the long weekend. I'm sorry, Friday was non-existent because the long weekend. Thursday was kind of a dud because we're heading into the long weekend. So if you look at like this where you can see the very back end of the prior Friday where we dipped, then we gapped way up Monday morning, sold off, almost filled that gap, came back and closed higher. Tuesday gapped up a little, played around a bit, but then sold way back off again. Wednesday was a kind of a flat opening and a flat session. And then Thursday to end out the quarter, a flat opening, bounced around for an hour, then pushed up a bit. NASDAQ. So in the end, we never filled that gap from the prior Monday, prior Friday to prior Monday, or last Monday. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ side, if you just take that, here's the prior Friday, that gapped up, still didn't fill the gap. It did fill the gap Tuesday. Wednesday was actually negative for the week, and it rallied back a little bit to close slightly positive for the week on Thursday before the holiday. All right, so what do we have in terms of economic data coming out? There's actually quite a bit. Now, remember, keep in mind that the important thing here is Monday is probably a bust just because the rest of the world's closed. But here in the U.S., we have flash manufacturing and ISM manufacturing and construction spending all at 9:45 and 10 a.m. On Tuesday, we got total vehicle sales at some point during the day and the TIP economic optimism number. On Wednesday, we've got ADP non-farm employment change, final services PMI, ISM non-manufacturing PMI, and factory orders, crude oil inventories. On Thursday, we've got challenger job cuts and the trade balance number, so that's a big one, and then the weekly unemployment claims, along with natty gas, which is the weekly number. And then on Friday, got another big one in the unemployment rate. And in the afternoon, we've got the consumer credit number. So some big numbers coming out. But again, Monday's probably not going to be that interesting. The quarter statements are printed. Market's free to move. But with the rest of the world closed, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think we got a fair shot at some action. And let's hope we do, because we've had some kind of slow weeks back here. So let's see if this all picks up. And that's it. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.